I'm going to cover a handful of non-related items on my off my current list. But anyway, I'm going to start with Derek. His YouTube channel is Vice Grip Garage. His latest vehicle is a Ford Bronco he rescued out of some property in Florida somewhere. Now this thing was busted pretty bad. He did get it running and drive it and drove it home. He barely missed a storm. It was a couple of weeks ago, if you remember that storm that it didn't do too much to us here in Arizona. Didn't hit southwest to us like it did the middle of the country. They even got snow down in the south part of Texas, which is kind of unusual. I said it. He got to his home. He made it to his home in Tennessee. You know when the snow just started to hit, so he really busted his ass to get home. Yeah, to barely miss a storm because he didn't have any windshield wipers, and a bunch of the vehicle was just barely to the point where he could use it. But anyway, he asked his viewers what should he do with this vehicle. So I'm going to propose. Well, it's his vehicle. He's going to do whatever he damn well pleases. But I'm going to propose a few ideas I might have if it were mine, if I were in his position. Well, first, he could just let it sit and rust some more. I mean, it's always one option. He could sell it or trade it for something else. That's always another option. Let somebody else finish it. Now, I don't know what's available. If you could buy if you could buy a brand new, shell, a brand, a complete body. Now, I know the old CJ Jeeps, the MP Jeeps, you used to be able to buy like a fiberglass body. I don't know if you still can or not. I remember back when J.C. Whitney was still around. I'm changing hands here. Reading the phone is moving around. But anyway, in the back of the old J.C. Whitney catalogs, they used to have, a Jeep body that you could buy, if you had one that was all rusted out, like the 1940s military Jeeps. I don't know if you could buy a whole. I mean that if you bought a frame like that, I'm sure you'd get title with it. It'd be a couple of grand, but you would get a title, with something like that, or something you could register. But anyway, that's certainly one option. Now another option would be to find another Bronco, in a like a self-service auto wrecking yard. I know the one. It's like Desert something auto salvage. I found it actually on Google Maps. There's a yard here in Arizona, just north of Phoenix. It's in Black Canyon City. Black Canyon City is just north of Phoenix. It's maybe 50, 60 miles north of Phoenix. And that's kind of the foothills of the Bradshaws in there. And there's some very pretty country. If you go to Sunset Point and look off, you can see down in some of the canyons and the mountains from the Bradshaw. Some very pretty country. But there's a desert auto salvage like that. But the yard, they've because Victor Brule, that's his YouTube channel. He's got one or two videos from that yard, and they do keep vehicles that they have titles for. These are vehicles that are they're not running, but they're not rusted out. They do have titles for these. That I don't know the prices on them. They're probably pretty high, but you might find you complete. You might search around for some of the auto wrecking yards that have a complete body, missing engine and and a transmission. You could probably trailer at home, and do and take your 460. And I think what I would do instead of using a transmission because you had trouble with it, I would take a T6 core and have it. If you tell a transmission shop you want to take a C6 core and have them really, really work one up, where it's a really stout transmission, say, look, I really want to drive the hell out of this vehicle. I'm sure this Bronco is 4-wheel drive, so I'm sure it's got a transfer case, built to the back of it, so you could take or maybe you could put a 5 or 6 speed in there. That would certainly be one option. If I were going to have an old Bronco, I might want to find a 5 or 6 speed, trying to put in there with a transfer case. That would be what I would want to do. Just tossing those out there. Well, those are always options on that old Bronco. I might. I think what I would do, I would work one up. I think I'd find an old one and work it up. I have 351, 460. I don't know, something along that lines. A 5 or 6 speed transfer case. Go with the big tires on there. I would do that Route 66 thing. In this old Bronco, you could sleep in the back of it, or maybe hit up the whole, hit up the motels along Route 66. Probably find somebody else to go with me. God, that would be worlds of fun. just one thought. Of course, another option for Route 66, since I've already delved into this scenario, I would, get something, maybe a mid 50s Chevy Ford station wagon. I mean, completely go through it, so it's dependable. I'd want to find me another chick, a gearhead chick, at least some mild interest in automotive history, have her tag along with me. Yeah, we would make sure we would make sure we're two compatible human beings and have lots of horizontal fun or other positions we both enjoyed in the back of that piece of American muscle history. I just tossing it out there. My mind is evolving or devolving into a great deal of fun. Let me see what else is on my list. Haunted Disney. I'll get to Haunted Disney in a minute. Insurance. Nancy Guthrie. Let me get to Nancy Guthrie because it's on my list here. Now, the media's got this story 24/7. You can't have one of those FBI agents or Pima County Sheriff agents. Oh, these guys have gone up to P. Maybe they found some evidence. They would maybe they're going to arrest somebody. They cover these things. I'm thinking it's just a police. These just FBI, Pima County Police. They're just doing their investigative thing, and the media's got it so covered. Now, to me, it's like that little boy crying wolf. I got sick and tired of the media, talking about something at 2 in the morning. They've issued warrants on some house and nothing comes of it. So to me, I've gotten sick and tired of. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. The whole thing's kind of stupid. I think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go cold case, and I'm sorry for the family. I'm thinking just some nuts behind this, and this guy's just got mental problems, and it's probably gonna go cold. I think I'm gonna catch him eventually. I think the media's gonna get sick and tired of it, and yeah, I don't know. Let's see, AP videos. Now, astral projection videos. There's a lot of these on YouTube. If you type astral projection or out of body experiences, there's tons of these on YouTube. All kind of guided self hypnosis videos. Today I downloaded a bunch of them. I put them on my micro SD card. I've got two phones here. One of them is working, like one I'm using. But anyway, that one I cracked. I covered that a couple days ago. I got to get another screen for it. I'm going to cover that in a separate video. Well, I've got a couple of old Cricket phones. I need to find them. I tell you what, the last one, it's been about 2 years ago. Last one, the battery went bad on it. I tell you what, I'd probably do: get a battery and another screen for that one, and redo that one, and just transfer the SIM cards over, and use that one. Then get another screen for this one. By that time, I have gotten good at doing the screens on those. Just my thoughts on that. I've got another phone that the last one that I used. I think I can just if I can't move the SIM card over, I can have Cricket do it for me. But anyway, after projection videos. Now there's a bunch of those on here on YouTube. You can play them right off the internet, right off of YouTube. I did it for a long time. I thought, well, if I download them, I'm not listening to the ads on these YouTube videos. Now YouTube doesn't want you to do that. Doesn't want you to not watch the videos, not watch commercials. But if you download the video and then put it to SD card, you can play them without going through the ads. But anyway, well, these are deep meditation. You put yourself in altered state of consciousness, and then you hopefully you go out of body. Now we all go out of body at night and during deep sleep, but don't remember. That's a very common belief. If you've got these weird dreams where you're making love to a particular chick or whatever, yeah, you're meeting up with her on the astral plane. You're actually having sex with her, and I find that thought very intriguing. There's one or two chicks that probably have fantasies about me, or maybe might be nightmares. I don't know. I'm not inside her head. They just enjoy it for what it is. I said we're probably doing the wild thing on the astral plane. My insurance. I need to now. That's been about a month ago. They had quoted me like $90, which is Cricket or Geico were charging me about $160 a month, and I had that problem with the bank, and I was without insurance for a couple of weeks, and then I called around. I was able to set up an account in another bank. I'm going to go back to Chase Bank. I need to do another couple more videos on Chase Bank, why I no longer have them as a bank. Uh, but I set up insurance through oh the one with the emu. Uh, Oh, I can't just get, but anyway, they'd quoted me $90, and this I called back the next day to finalize everything. The lady says, "Well, look, if you set up our app on your phone, there's something you can set up when which will allow us to monitor your driving, and we'll kick it down to $72." Now they sent me an email a couple of days ago. I've got to make sure the funds in my bank. They said your payment is $72. So I thought, they've been getting my telemetry off of my phone, and then they sent me an email saying, "No, we need you to finalize that setup." So I need to go through and set that up. But they've got something now. Some companies will have a actual video. They want you to send video, of you driving. Now this just something that goes out. So they just monitor it from your phone. I guess it worked through GPS and the different towers the phone hits. Says that as you're driving around. But apparently, they did lower my rate without actually getting the telemetry from my phone. But I need to finish and set that up, so they are getting it because I'm a fairly slow, safe, careful driver, so I have no problem. I guess the people that the real maniacs, they want to make sure they pay the full rate because they're the ones that are more likely to get in a wreck. Because I've But anyway, let me see if I covered everything here. Oh, Haunted Disney. Yeah, that fascinates me. I was just listening to Don't Scare Claire, that she's got these ghost videos. That's one I love. I need to compile a list of the videos YouTube videos that I like to listen to, when I can't sleep at 3 in the morning. Just so, but one of them is Don't Scare Claire. She's British, but she's covered a number of places here in the U.S. and her ghosts because they're of equal ghost appeal to people that are into that type of thing. Like the Queen Mary there in Long Beach. But anyway, her she's got about 3 videos on haunted Disneyland. Let me kind of I just kind of give you the Reader's Digest version of haunted Disneyland. Now there's the place has been there from the 1950s. Now, there's one story. This is probably just an urban legend. Now, but when Roy and Walt Disney went to buy the land, it had been a farm. So reported it had been this guy's farm, and this guy initially, when Roy and Walt Disney had approached the farmer, the guy goes, "Over my dead body, will you build your amusement park here?" Because the 2 brothers had approached the farmer and told him what they wanted to do, and they laid out the money. I'm thinking this is urban legend, but supposedly the guy wanted to be buried on the property, so his grave is out there somewhere, somewhere in the middle of Disneyland. So Disneyland is actually built over his dead body, but I think that's an urban legend. I don't think there's any truth in that. But there are, like I said, this place has been in business from the 50s, 70 years or something like that. And accidents have happened either with customers or employees either just unfortunate accident. There's one guy that had snuck onto the property, and some guard told him to get out of there, and he knew he was in trouble, so he jumped down and accidentally got in front of the monorail. The monorail had struck and killed him, but he was doing something he shouldn't have been. There's a number of reports of people do see ghosts at Disneyland. Riding rides. I mean, you don't know quite. There's one lady that had a heart attack, that really didn't have anything to do. It wasn't that, yeah, it was a health problem, not an accident. I mean, you figure life happens, stuff happens. So, yeah, you figure place has been in business for 70 years plus. There got to be a ghost that's hanging around out there. And to me, I wouldn't mind bumping into one, just interacting with them and find out why they're still there. Anyway, let's see if I covered everything here. Insurance, AP videos, Haunted Disney, Vice Grip, Nancy Guthrie. Yep, covered everything here. I'll think of something else for later. Okay, love y'all. Let's keep life exciting and interesting. Ciao. Bye con Dios. Bye.